Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Forex Feast channel, where we have made it our mission to provide the regular average Joe trader with the knowledge and skills necessary to go into these Forex markets and feast in profits. I am your humble, gracious, and grateful host, Sunday Okigwe, at your service. Now, listen, guys, before we get into this, I am told that I have to remind you that I am not a financial advisor or professional trader. I'm just a guy with some opinions on the market. As you all know, trading Forex is some risky business, so walk light. Ladies and gentlemen, walk light. Okay, so let's get into some of the outlooks and analysis for GBPAUD. As you can see on the screen, or at least I hope you can see this, I'm using the Trading View platform, which I'm kind of getting used to so far. I'm finding that there are a lot of tools on here that are quite useful. As you guys know, if you've been following my videos so far, you know that I prefer using the MetaTrader 4 environment, but I guess you call me old school. Um, for the purposes of analysis, I can see now why people use TradingView. There are a lot of tools that it has, and there's more flexibility. There are more things you can work with. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into this. The GBP AUD currently, what you should see on the screen is the 1 hour time frame, and you should see some markups of support and resistance from last week's trading. Now, as far as last week is concerned, I think it's safe to say that price ranged mostly all of last week. All of last week was just one big consolidation. Okay, price kept bouncing from this area right here up to this area right here and back down to this area right here and back up to this area right here. Well, you guys get the point. Okay, um, it just basically ranged between about roughly 100 and some change, 100 pips and some change. Okay, that was the entire last week of GBP AUD market movement. I mean, just basically a little over 100 pips. I want to say it was probably somewhere around 110, maybe 112 pips. That was the range. Okay, it just went up, went down, went up, went down. Okay, now towards the end, this was like Thursday or Friday of last week, just 2 days ago, late Thursday going into Friday, the market finally broke past that resistance level that was formed in the middle of the week. Okay, so this high right here was formed around Wednesday of last week, and the market finally broke out of that, and established a new resistance level. Okay, and then it promptly went down, and then it came up again to test and make it an official resistance level. You see, because we can't really call something resistance until it's been tested. Okay, just like you can't call something support, a significant support level rather, unless it's been tested. Okay, so we know that this is a significant resistance level, and how do we know that? We know because price wicked there at least 3 times. Okay, 2 times would be enough, but 3 times is a stronger case. Okay, you see it went up here and wicked into this area right here, into this resistance zone, and then price started falling away. Okay, then several hours later it came back up into that zone, and then it went again, promptly descended back down. Okay, and then several hours later it went back into the zone, and it just kind of wicked into that zone and sharply came back down. So that tells us that this is a new kind of resistance. Okay, this is a new resistance. Now, how significant is this resistance level going to be? Well, next week is going to tell us. Okay, but this is what we expect for next week, because let's keep in mind overall, GBPAUD has been in an upward trend. As a matter of fact, it's been in an upward trend since April. Okay, it's been steadily moving up since April. There hasn't really been uh, that much in the way of a significant pullback. It's had pullbacks. Don't get me wrong. It has had some pullbacks, but it's for the most part it has been in an upward trend since April. Okay, so if you're asking me, and if you're asking any rational-minded person out there, don't fight the trend. There's every indication that this thing is going to keep moving upwards. Okay, but as we know with GBP pairs, they love to retrace before moving up. Okay, they're going to retrace first and then they're going to take off. That's typically how GBP works. It doesn't matter what pair you put it against. It could be GBP AUD, GBP JPY, GBP USD. It doesn't matter. GBP pairs, they love to retrace, before finally taking off. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting to happen next week. Okay, now since we have formed this new support area right here, okay, I fully expect GBP to try to go in and test that support area. Okay, I am expecting that. Yes, so definitely sometime between I want to say 12:30 and 1 a.m. Okay, so 30 minutes after midnight and 1 a.m. I expect price to be around this area right here. Okay, and that's only if it's going to test the support. Okay, because keep in mind there's a support area that can be tested and there's also a resistance area that's going to be tested. Okay, but we're going to go through um, both scenarios, okay, and where we should be looking at getting into the market, with both scenarios. Okay, so I'm starting off with the support level scenario. Okay, so around 30 minutes after midnight, this is 30 minutes after the close of the Asian session roughly. We're looking at pre-London time, around 1 a.m. I'm expecting price to be around this area right here and to be dancing around this area right here. Okay, trying to decide whether it wants to break through and continue down to this other support level here, because I still consider this area right here to be strong support. Okay, I still consider this area right here to be strong support. And why do I consider that? Well, because it has many more confirmations. I mean, let me count the wicks. I mean, come on, see? You see all these wicks right here? You see all these wicks right here? I mean, there's got to be at least over a dozen wicks. Okay, it kept testing this area and retracing, testing this area and retracing. So this is a much more by far significant support level than this right here. Okay, so in the case that price does come to this area, break down below and close below this area, I'm expecting that the next place price is going to move to is this region right here. Okay, and this will probably happen between uh, Monday going into Tuesday. Okay, if it does happen, okay, if it does break below, typically the huge moves happen in the London session and the New York session the following day. Typically, those type of moves are not going to happen in the Asian session. The most you can expect from an Asian session is probably anywhere from a 40 to 60 pip movement, especially with the GBP AUD. It's roughly 40 to 60 pips. That's the most you can expect. Okay, but you can have an 80, 90, 100, at times 150 to close to 200 pip move, between the London and New York sessions. Okay, so what I'm expecting though, going back, having said that and going back, what I'm expecting is that price during the Asian session, okay, throughout the course of the Asian session, price is going to gradually move into this area right here. Okay, that's the first scenario. Or it can gradually take off and move into this area right here. Okay, but again, like I said before, the major moves, okay, don't typically happen in the Asian session. You expect that to happen during the London and New York sessions, okay, but you expect the initial kind of fake out move to happen in the Asian session. Excuse me. That's when those type of moves happen, okay. So price is either going to do one of two things. I mean, there's only one of two things it can do, right? It's either going to go up or down. If it decides to go down, this is where it's going to kind of hover around. It's going to hover around this area, and then from this area, the expectation would be that it would take off. Okay, because you know this actually this move right here is what I think is the most likely move because it supports the overall trend. The overall trend of GBP is that it's going up, right? So yes, you might get a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a retracement, but you expect it to just go ahead and keep going in the direction it's been going in, okay, for the past several months. So that's exactly what I expect. I expect this move more so than the other move, which is price somehow makes it up here and then, starts retracing down here. Okay, that's going to be unlikely at this point. Okay, what's more likely to happen is that price comes down, traces this area right here. I'm not traces, hits this area right here, hovers around this area. It might even spike down and close back in this area zone right here. Okay, it is going to try to get as many traders as possible thinking that price is going to keep descending downwards. Okay, that's what the Asian session is good for. The Asian session is the fake out session. It's there to basically get you thinking the opposite way from where the market is really intending to go. Okay, so I think I have to repeat that. The Asian session is designed to get you thinking the opposite way of where the market is actually intending to go. Because the real moves are going to occur, like I said before, in the London session or in the New York session. Okay, keep that in mind with GBP AUD specifically. Okay, but that's the case with most GBP pairs. But anyway, so this is the likely play. This is the likely play. So I would keep an eye for this. Okay, and only if this move happens should you be thinking about getting into a trade. Okay, and let me elaborate on that. Okay, when the price gets down to this area right here, okay, if it wicks downwards and closes back in the zone, you keep watching it. Okay, if it spikes up and goes back into the zone, keep watching it. The only time you think about getting into this trade is if the price comes out, closes above the zone after going into the zone, it bounces out of the zone, closes above it, and then the subsequent candles after that continue closing above. That is when, and only when, you can decide to go in for a long, to probably chase price up to this area right here. Okay, not chase price, but follow price up to this area right here. Okay, if you see price come into this area, reject, and go above this area and close above this area, and by this area I mean the support area. Okay, because like we said, this is the likely play. Okay, I'm not ruling out the fact that you know price could open up heading towards the resistance zone. That's also a possibility. Okay, it could happen that during the Asian session, over the course of the Asian session, price continues to kind of head up to this area right here, but it's not going to do anything spectacular. It's either going to come to the resistance area and reject, going back downwards, okay, which if it does that, then that means that price is still indecisive, and next week is probably going to be a consolidation of these two areas. Okay, which if that happens, Oh well, it happens. Okay, the market sometimes is undecisive. Okay, and that just means that there's going to be very few options to trade next week, but that's fine. Okay, we're only trying to trade A plus quality setups. We're not trying to force anything. Okay, so if next week becomes a lot like last week where there's a lot of ranging and consolidation, that's fine. Okay, there are going to be some areas in there that we're going to be able to take advantage of, but we need at least one day to show us, okay, this is what the market is doing, is actually ranging, before we can pull the trigger on that, and capitalize on that ranging kind of scenario. um, what I'm actually hoping happens is that, like I explained, price comes down to this area, kind of plays around in this area, being the new support area, and then it just takes off. And I mean, what I mean by take off is that it continues to just go. Okay, it just continues to go in that upward kind of trajectory. That's what I'm fully expecting to happen. But there could also be the type of shenanigans we've seen in the past week where price just goes up to here and just bounces off and comes back down to the support area. Then it bounces off and comes back up to the resistance area. That's that kind of behavior. That could very well be how next week shapes out. Guys, um, that would be it for me. If you enjoyed this content, please, please, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to show me your support. The YouTube algorithm also appreciates that. I appreciate that. And it allows me to continue to provide you with these videos. Okay? Until the next time we meet, I'm going to wish you a happy trading next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and later. Bye, guys.